think it's a great opportunity to meet new people in the industry and to get a concise view of what's happening in the industry from people who are leading the thoughts, and also to challenge and ask questions around it.
It's been quite nice because we've had a few people come up saying that they are like reviewing and wanted to speak to us anyway, so that's been quite nice. And then a few people that we've never met before. But it's been busier in the breaks than other events that we've done, so that's nice.
The chance to meet very clever people and share ideas. Okay, John?
Oh, I love coming here because I get to network with clever people, learn stuff, and continually challenge my own beliefs and ideas and steal from clever people.
It's the variety of the content and you know the different experience that you get from the speakers. I really enjoyed the problem management session today, and I thought we were quite advanced with problem management, but listening to the guys from Nationwide talking about how they went through their problem management journey, it took so much away from that. There's always something to be had from every session, and that's what's good about the conference.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to come back in if that's okay, because one of the things that I enjoy about contributing is you get back far more than you put in. So having spoken at a couple of these events, I might just have the idea of what to do it, but these two gentlemen have taught me a lot more than what otherwise I would have known. And you're right, the problem management was fantastic, and I've got a new contact to help my customer out back in Swindon. So there you go, a bit more professional.
For me, it's about how people are able to take a mature concept and put a completely fresh spin on it, give a completely different take on things, and in a way re-energize the same concept for the modern world. And been hearing a lot about agile and DevOps from completely different perspectives than what you would traditionally see at a regular IT conference. That's what I've loved about it.
It's my first one, yes.
How do you find it today?
Different. It's a different approach to a few things. It's good to get a different take on a few approaches. Yeah, so I think I've worked for the same organisation for 15 years, so it's good to hear different opinions and like I said, how different organisations are doing things or have done things. So yeah, it's been good.
I think there's been a lot of valuable lessons coming out today. There's been a lot of, from my point, confirmation of what we're doing in the SIAM space, particularly that what we're kind of aiming for is where we should be aiming. We're not there yet. I think we've got a lot more work to do about it, but it's good to kind of know that where we're going is where we should be going.
Again, I think it's a lot of recurring themes that we're used to seeing, which is encouraging because it shows it's all global and so on, and a great deal of enthusiasm. So I've seen some really entertaining presentations, which is always really good fun as well. So
thought-provoking. How's that?
Okay, that's enough, thanks, Elena. you are officially one of the Crazy Finns.
Yes.
All right, Crazy Finn opinion.
And one of the cat team. How's it been today for you?
Correct. So we were actually just discussing about it, that there's a lot of confusion around cloud and not defining properly what is the cloud and how to manage it. If you would say like as an infrastructure, as a service, it would be maybe easier, or application as a service, then it's easier to manage it, but it's too high level a little bit. People are confused.
Then you mentioned about the services. Let's not talk about the services, let's talk about, was it business capabilities?
Yes, mind your language.
Yeah.
That was the message.
I usually say that to him.
Yeah, we can't say services. We've changed the buzzword now from services to capabilities.
Capabilities.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Yeah.
The interesting thing for me is you think back a few years, nearly every presentation was about some aspect of ITIL.
Yes,
now it's about an awful lot more than that. In fact, the majority isn't about that anymore, which is actually good because that's the world we're in now.
So you're reading about Crazy Finns, but he's the Crazy Yorkshireman. Well, that's an oxymoron, isn't it? Crazy Yorkshireman.
I mean, the big thread for me, we're still talking about, it's about people, it's about culture. It's about every prepresentation has been some way about people, culture, getting people to do things and work together and communication.
Anything new or different that you've heard today?
So looking back, this is probably my sixth time here, and earlier there was purely like how to implement change management, how to implement incident management, and now it's really more business oriented. There's more speed, there's different methodologies, there's not only ITIL and how did you do the trick, so it's giving more, it's more inspiring. I have a lot of good ideas.
The last presentation, it was business alignment. We have been discussing it, was it 45 years, and it's not still there. So we are still missing it.
It's third conference for me.
Third one, third
Yeah.
one for me as well.
Yeah.
How does it compare? Is it
Oh, it's really good. It's nice to be out of London. So it's
Makes a nice change.
Glad to hear somebody saying that. 'Cause we've been asked to come up north for years.
Yeah.
It seems like coming north, it's given it a bit of a different feel. Kind of seems like there's a lot more people kind of who probably wouldn't normally come. So
Yes, it's been good.
Got some good ideas.
Quite inspiring talk so far. So it's certainly been worthwhile.
So far, it's been really good. Actually, what's quite refreshing is that you can be at events like this, and traffic doesn't kind of go past the vendors quite as much, perhaps, as it is. But this there's been a lot of footfall, a lot of good conversations, and the fact that it's just nice to catch up with people in general. Actually, so I think it's been really, really good.
It's been great. I think it's been really refreshing. I think the people have been really interactive. Good venue.
They seem really energised and enjoying being in Manchester, which I think is a good change so far. So it's been good. Yeah,
Have
really
lots
good
of
day.
questions, which is always good.
Yeah.
Don't they?
That's great. Must have been the cocaine we gave them then.
We'll do it again tomorrow. Keep it going. Yeah.
So does it feel different to the London experience when we do it in London?
I think it feels really different. I think it feels more uplifted. I'd say even just out here, it's just got a bit more refreshed feel.
Yeah, I think change was good. I think just moving it around. People appreciate as well, those who are from the north of the country, that they had the opportunity to only travel a short distance rather than always coming down to London and it's like 4 or 5 hours to get down. So I think they've appreciated that.
Yeah.
It's good for us,
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, maybe we'll see Sits up north next year.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
You never
Watch
know.
it.
We're always looking at opportunities.
Harrogate.
Yeah.
They need an input of younger people, and I don't know if that's just across the sector but
It's a challenge that we have because our brand and ITSM talks to an older generation, no doubt.
Yeah.
And how we break out of it is still a big challenge for us. But that's what we're working on all the time with the new brands and new stuff. So I take the point, but it's absolutely.
I think it's been quite interesting actually because it's enabled those of us who we might sometimes spend more time going around the exhibition. We're actually going into the sessions, and there have been some excellent sessions today, and some great feedback. I think for me there are two things that have come out. One is that people are talking a lot about the end-to-end, that we really need to be focusing on the end-to-end journey rather than just piecemeal. And the other thing I picked up today is that there's a lot out there now. People are talking about SIAM for our customers. We need to start focusing on what it means for a service provider going into a SIAM construct, because if they've got multiple clients, they could end up being part of multiple SIAM constructs and shapes and sizes, and they've got to somehow work with all of those different SIAM models. So that to me sounds like quite a challenge, so it's something we need to think about. We haven't really looked at much of the collateral yet, but there's been some good stuff coming through. We've seen that the forms are coming in, and we've got some good discussion starters going on in the discussion zones, particularly on the future of ITIL and the beyond ITSM. There's some quite cracking subjects that we can get our teeth into. So that's great that we've got that, and really giving a steer to the guys who'll be developing the ITIL update of what they need to be focusing on.
It's the new formats work very well. I think the three key takeaways from each session, and hopefully tomorrow when we're able to disseminate that a bit better. Those who haven't got to sessions are getting the benefit of the sessions they didn't get to as well. So I think that's been well received.
Some good sessions. Yeah. Went to the last session on strategic partnering. Really good. Got some lot out of that. Haven't had a chance to look around all the venues yet, all the stalls. There seems to be partnering, and some of the terminology that was used. Classic in our place, we use the business as if it's like the dark force, and it's actually your colleagues that you work with day in, day out that are making money that pays your salary, but you refer to them as a third party. So
Bots and things, Barclay, that's right, yes. Yes, I'm talking about artificial intelligence, bots, and how it's impacting particularly self-service.
And what are you going to say about that?
Well, I don't want to let all the secrets out.
Given that this will actually be seen after the conference.
Yes, this is
not
true. So
not live to nationwide at the moment.
No, that's fine. I'm talking about how there's this massive transformation in both service management, but also in self-service, that's coming through from artificial intelligence, from a conversational UI and a conversational AI. And I don't think we all quite get how big a difference this is.
Okay.
Some big changes around what we think of as self-service coming really soon. It's very exciting.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, almost like self-driving cars, but a lot safer.
Well, we heard from the Chancellor this week that it was going to happen within a couple of years.
Yeah, it's important to embrace technology.
I think there's some big themes coming out. One is obviously people, as it always is about people. Another is a lot of things we've taken for granted in the industry in the past about what we're trying to achieve. I think people recognise it's outdated, but it's not about achieving high availability or something like that. It's very much about merging with the business and achieving business outcomes is the key thing I'm hearing.
I'll add to that what I've seen in session after session is people thinking for themselves instead of slavishly following any kind of standard or practice. They've clearly read the practices and the standards, and then they're doing the right thing for their companies, and that's a pleasure to hear. And it doesn't match what I still see out in most of the organisations I go to work at, where they're still kind of a bit behind that. But I've heard person after person talking about value and outcomes rather than talking about incidents and problems, and that's really nice.
And we're hearing that not just from the speakers, we're hearing it from the floor. There are some really good ideas coming from the attendees here. They're much more engaged perhaps than in previous years.
The Q&A at the ends of the sessions has been
really
engaging and interesting and high quality.
Fantastic. Do you think, is there anything about the fact that we've come to Manchester that's made it different? Or is it just that we've shaken it up a bit and made it different?
Both, I think.
I think both. I used to come to Manchester as a child, days out, because in Blackpool, what do you do for day out when you're young?
You went to Manchester for days out?
You went to Manchester for days out. Sometimes we went to Preston. They were really bad days out.
I did love the presentation from Bob Brown, the Manchester CIO, who clearly gets it in terms of engaging with how do I create value for not only for the people I work for, but the people they work for.
And again, the value being talked about this week isn't just about financial value. It's about social value. It's about being, and I know there's three philosophers here. It's about being good people. But to be an IT person actually means we have to do something which is good for society. Now that for me is a very exciting message to go out.
It's interesting because it hasn't been explicit, but it's been implicit in a lot of what I've heard.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine who works in the film industry recently, and we were talking about the kind of moral, turpitude torpor that they're in. And actually, I found myself, I hadn't really thought about it before, saying we actually do have quite a moral.
So
we have quite an ethical industry.
The very last session I was in today was Ian Connolly, talking about how he has found examples on the dark web of people getting service management, and talking about pornography, ransomware and all sorts of other things as services, and even as botnet as a service to deliver your malware. It was very interesting how, talking about moral stuff, he made it engaging and entertaining, but he had a very important thing to say about services and how they work. Fascinating.
Okay. And that's another key message that we're hearing, is that people are taking lessons from outside of IT. They're looking at what consumers are doing, what consumers are expecting, and then bringing them internally into IT departments. And too often we've been hermetically sealed in our bubble rather than looking outside. So has this been a great event so far?